What's up, YouTube? It's Joe Ketchpalia sitting on the couch making some money investing in fractional real estate online. As usual, today is Friday, so it's time for this week's installment of the 52-week challenge. If you haven't been following along, this is where I share all of the fractional real estate that I bought this week, and I also invite you to share with the group as well. Feel free to put it in the comments to this video, or in the description of this video, there's a link to a Discord channel where there's a couple hundred of us investors that talk about fractional real estate on a regular basis. The point of this is just to be a virtual accountability group where we're all sharing our strategies, what platforms we like, what we're looking at. It's not meant to be, hey, this is what I'm buying and you should buy it too. That's definitely not the case. You want to do your own due diligence. Before I forget, please like and subscribe. In the description of this video, I have links to all the places where I'm currently investing in fractional real estate online. Please do your own due diligence on any of those platforms. Any of the links that say they give you money, the Lofty one has historically not actually done it. They say they're fixing it soon, but it still doesn't seem to be working, as far as I can tell. But feel free to use those, but make sure you dig into the terms of service. I've had a couple people ask me about, oh, hey, I invested on this, and the site didn't give me my bonus money. Well, some of those sites, they require a certain minimum investment, or there's a certain period of time that goes by before they'll do it. Or some of them, for a little while, Ground Floor was requiring you to only invest in the flywheel to get it. I don't know. That seems like that's come and gone a couple times. I'm not even positive. I don't keep track of it, but I just wanted to make sure that that's clear. I'm not saying, hey, use these. I'm putting them there. I used them when I signed up. And if you want to, just make sure you dig into those yourself. And also, don't just buy stuff because I'm buying it. I'm trying to share the way I'm looking at these deals, but certainly don't expect anybody to be in the same exact situation as me. So whether or not these investments make sense for you is something you want to figure out on your own. Or hire a professional. I guess they exist out there as well. Okay, so back to what I bought this week. I just bought one small piece of an LRO. That's the, what are those, limited recourse obligations. It's basically a small piece of a fix and flip loan on this home, 6630 Walker Road in Riverdale, Georgia. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, this is on Ground Floor. And so I only invest in the LROs on Ground Floor. I don't invest in their flywheel portfolio. I did a pretty long video about why not. I'm sure you can find it in the Ground Floor playlist if you're interested. My strategy on here has really just been to buy a little piece of every single one that comes up. I do look at them, I let the auto investor select them, but I do look at them and make sure, like, okay, there's not some glaring reason that I don't want it. And so far there hasn't been. My goal is the widest possible diversification. But you can see I'm down to 117 loans. I'm buying a piece of every single one that comes up. But at the moment, they're paying off faster than new ones are coming up. So even though I've increased the amount that I'm putting into each loan, I'm still not growing this, the number of loans in my portfolio. It might turn out that this is as diversified as I'm going to get. I just don't really know. Still have not had a single default. You can see I have 16 in extended status. If you look at my closed ones, I've had 106 that performed and paid off, another 87 that extended and paid off. So this has been going really well for me. I know that hasn't been everybody's experience, depending on, the time period that you got involved. There were a whole bunch of defaults for people. And then also too, over time, I think that I'll start, some of these extendeds will inevitably become defaults. And if not some of these specific ones, some in the future, but it's so far so good for me. So I'm going to just keep doing this. I wish they had more of these coming up, because like I said, I'd like to get to 150, 200 loans, maybe more, and get to a point where I can start adding capital back onto this platform, because right now I still just have cash accumulating because payoffs are happening faster than purchases. All right, so that's everything I bought on Ground Floor, just the one LRO. On Lofty, in this view, this is on Lofty Assist actually, but on Lofty, the only thing I bought was some tokens in 7014 Raymond Ave in St. Louis, Missouri. this is a home that we're currently, this is my largest position on Lofty. I'm getting close to 15%. I think I'm just under 14 right now of the property. It is, what did I want to say about this? Well, it's a property that we're currently going through the eviction process. I think I might have just said it was vacant, but it's not vacant. We're going through the eviction process. Once it becomes vacant, plan to sell it. And so my whole reason for buying this is just the level of cheapness relative to what I believe we will sell this property for in real life. Obviously we have some debts that we have to pay off. So this is, there's a debt to the prior manager. There's a loan outstanding to the ULD. But I think even with all of that, at the current price, I expect us to make a profit. Now, obviously, that's just my expectation. It doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. So again, if you're interested in this one, do your own due diligence. Clearly, people had been buying this up. I had a target price I'm trying to stay below, and for a long time, the market price was above it. Now it's below, because my average purchase has been when the tokens have been around $18. But I've mentioned this several times. I'm not putting more money on Lofty right now. All of my purchases are either coming from me selling other property tokens or the rent that I have accumulating in the account. I just still don't really trust the platform itself, to be viable in the long run. I think that they just, we've had a ton of struggles since I've been involved. And I know they had plenty before that. I'd like to see them, get to a point where lots of investors trust them. At the moment, it's the most profitable strategy is to buy discounted tokens and then to get those properties sold in real life. To list them on the MLS, put them on the market, sell them in real life. Actually, the most profitable strategy on Lofty has been to have your property get struck by lightning. I think that's, burn down and then collect the insurance money. That happened on one. And I think for a lot of people, that was their most profitable deal, which is kind of funny. It was vacant, so nobody was hurt or anything. But so because that's the only way to really do, extremely well, at the moment, it makes the long-term viability something that I question, right? There are some properties that I've purchased that, I think the people that are running them are doing a good job, and I wouldn't mind holding it for the long term. But even those ones, when the token prices get so low, there's just always this opportunity to buy those cheap tokens, push for a real world sale, and get a much better return than if we just hold those properties long term at that cheap token price. So it is, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know why I'm going off on these tangents today. That's everything I bought on Lofty. Just some tokens in 7014 Raymond. And then I finally bought another property on Mogul. This is the first time in a while, since the Blitzen. So you can imagine that sold around Christmas time. This is a 9-bedroom, 4-bathroom pad split in Mesa, Arizona. It's one where the seller is renovating it, converting it into, adding the additional living space, by converting a garage. I thought, I was pretty happy with the valuation on this one. I didn't love it, but I was pretty happy with it. And it seems like their estimates were pretty good, as far as for revenue projections, especially because I own, a small piece of the Roads, which is another pad split in Mesa, Arizona. It's not very far away. And that one has been one of my best performers. So I'm hoping that this one ends up being pretty good too. It's actually not sold out yet. So if it's one that you're thinking about digging into, I did do a quick video about it that I put out yesterday. It's in the Mogul playlist that I have. So I was pretty excited though, because I haven't bought one from them in a while. It isn't the greatest yield. It's projected, I think their year one projection is like just over 8%. But when I went back and looked at the Roads, it's actually performing a decent amount above their projected yield. So, I'm somewhat hopeful that this one will be. I don't know that it will be. It might not be. But regardless, it's a model that I like. It's a market that I like. And so I decided to pull the trigger on this one. Mogul is still my favorite platform. If you didn't watch my most recent video, some of the questions that I, had been worried about, they got back to me and answered some things, which made me feel a little bit better about a couple things from the prior, that came up with prior listings. So I don't know. I'm still very hopeful about the Mogul platform overall. I think it is still my favorite platform of all the fractional real estate places at the moment. The only reason that I'm putting more money to work on places like Arrived and Arc7 at the moment is because, they end up with these discounted deals, and, they have where you can just get in at a much lower basis. And even though I don't like the deal itself as much, the deal plus the discount just starts to make a lot of sense on some of those. So anyway, but I didn't buy anything on either of those this past week. Mogul made the cut, so I was glad that was actually the case. That's everything that I bought this week. Just the one thing on Ground Floor, one thing on Lofty, one thing on Mogul. Let me know what you bought. Put it in the comments to this video, or jump in the Discord, or, which seems to be everybody's favorite thing to do, feel free to keep sending me DMs. I like talking to you in all different ways about fractional real estate. I do think it's best for everybody if we kind of try to share publicly, because the goal is to create a community, right, where we all share ideas and strategies, and maybe, sometimes approach platforms as a group with some, put some pressure on them to do things a certain way and whatnot. And so, the more that it is not just directly interacting with me, but it is the group as a whole, I think that the better off our whole community will become. And I think we're actually getting really good at that in a lot of the threads in the Discord. So please keep that up. You can tell I haven't been to bed yet. It's 6:30 in the morning. I'm going to go to sleep pretty soon. This got pretty rambly. I said the word pretty like 17 times. Sorry about that. That's everything. That's everything I bought. Let me know what you bought. Hit the bell and the like and subscribe if you haven't done that. Until next time, I'm going to just keep making mistakes so that you don't have to.